So today we're looking at the case of Bryan Vladek. I would like to say Hazel, but it's Hazel. He's 23. So age 23. I think he was 22 when he went missing, and now he's 23. Eyes blue, height 5'8", weight between 210 and 230 pounds, hair color brown. Okay, missing from Orlando, Florida. All right, so let's just play it. Oh, there we go. Last seen by his family on November 5th, 2021. I've seen this case covered a lot on Twitter. I've been very interested in covering it for the longest time. And this is why I've launched these Missing Persons Case Awareness Mondays, so that we can just focus on missing persons cases on Mondays. Because otherwise I find I do like a YouTube short or a quick video here, or I mention it there. And I really just want to concentrate on it. And I really want to, I want to do my best to spread awareness in these cases. So Vladek is of Russian descent, and he and his sister were adopted by a caring family in the USA when he was 5 years old. He's one of 8 siblings in a blended family. Vlad, that's what he's known as by his family. Vlad served in the Marine Corps for a long time. It wasn't a great fit for him, and he was honorably discharged in September 2019. Later, I will cover this because I know you might have questions already, because I also had questions of like, why was he discharged? But it's because he worked a desk job there. That's the position they put him in. And he's a busybody from what I hear from the family. I've watched all the interviews and read up as much as possible on this case. And for him, like sitting still, I mean, I would also feel like that, actually. I'm just like that. I'm here, okay, doing this YouTube thing and I make the presentations, but I'm a busybody. I got to get up all the time. So, I just feel like if he was in the Marines and he had this dream, young guy joining the Marine Corps, like to then be put in a desk job, yeah, I can imagine that would be like, oh man. So they said it wasn't a great fit for him and he was honorably discharged. As I say there, this was terrible for him because he'd always dreamed of being a Marine. He's known as a very kind, caring, and spiritual person who often helps local homeless populations. In fact, he's been described as helping like anyone that he comes across. If he meets someone, he wants to know your life story. He wants to get to know you, wants to see if you're struggling, can he help? I mean, he sounds like an empath, a really nice guy. So to think that he's just disappeared since November, wow, that is, again, you guys know how I feel about this. I cannot accept that people can just vanish from the face of the earth in 2022. There's so much. This is why we want to share information, because that's all it takes. Just information sharing. Hopefully someone comes forward with dash cam footage, camera footage from their security cameras, or they spotted him somewhere, or they're like, oh yeah, okay, I remember that. So please do hit the share button. I would really, really appreciate it if you could share it wherever you can. Share the clips, share it on Twitter, share it on Instagram, TikTok, wherever you want. Reddit as well. I would really, really appreciate that. Okay. Also, if the family is watching, because I would assume they would be, please know you are so, so welcome here in the Grizzly community. We've got your back. We totally support you, and we will continue to shine a light on Vladek's case. Made it just listening to yesterday's VIP chat on the floor. I'm glad you liked it. It was really a lot of fun. Okay, so he's known as a very kind, caring person. Okay, he loves to play basketball and frequented the gym. However, his family said that, recently in the last few months, like maybe 3 to 6 months or so, they said he kind of slowed down in the basketball, which makes sense because he was, as we see at the bottom there, struggling a bit with depression, which I think we can all relate to. He goes by the name Vladek or Vlad, although his last sighting revealed that he was going by Bryan to those he was interacting with at this coffee shop, which we'll get into. We are going to do map time for every single case I'm covering today as well. These are all big cases that have been covered quite a lot on Twitter, I see, but not all that much on YouTube or, in the news and things like that. Thankfully, Bryan Enton was on this one. Thank goodness. That was recent. So yeah, we just got to keep shining the light. He Okay, Vladek suffered from depression and was talking about archangels and demons. He was hyper focused on religion, as his sister described it, before his dad left for his trip. All right. What's up, Claire? What's up, Lorraine? So the timeline. In the weeks leading up to his disappearance, his family said that he was doing a lot of outreach work and was leaving large tips up to $300 sometimes at the places he frequented. So he would often go for like meals with his dad, and then he would really want to leave a big tip. And his dad supported that completely because, Vladek had such a big heart, and he wanted him to feel like he has purpose, of course. And yes, you can contribute, and yes, you can help people. So Vladek was living with his dad at the time when he disappeared. And his dad was financially supporting him because he, got discharged from the military. And then guess what hit? I don't want to say that. I'm going to say panoramic. You all know what I mean. The Rona hit. And I think it made everyone very depressed in general. So to think of actually being discharged from the Marine Corps, which was your dream, now you're kind of like, what do I do now? Like, what do I do now? And now everything shuts down. I mean, it's really sad, So anyway, so there's that. Just keep that in mind. So on November 5th, 2021, Vladek was last seen by his family at their home in the area of Alafaya Trail and McKay Boulevard in Orlando, Florida. While he was at home, he did not have a car because it was in the repair shop, and of course the dad went on the trip. His father returned from the trip 10 days later and found Vladek's, I'll put it like this for a second, his cell phone and personal belongings in the apartment. We'll get more into that in a moment, but there was no sign of his son. You're asking how old he is again? 23. Only 23. Right? I feel so bad for his dad. He's done everything for Vlad. He's such a nice man, it seems. Right? Yes, I've watched all the interviews. I've seen all the Twitter pages and everything. There is a link in the description box as well. It's a tiny URL link so that you can have all the links to follow this case on all social media platforms. Hello to Rochelle Pronzo. So nice to see you. Okay. He would have been so great working with the homeless population. He's special. There is speculation that he could have integrated into a homeless camp right now, or he could be off-grid. We just don't know. Okay. So let's continue on. Sorry for the delay there. On November 6th, he was seen at Foxtail Coffee, Collegiate Way, Orlando. His family has said that the police issued Vladek with a trespassing warning. He allegedly had a pocket knife on the table, and it made some people uncomfortable, which is when the police were called. So I was watching the Lorden Arts interview with the family today, and they were saying what happened was on November 5th, he had gone in the evening to this Foxtail coffee place. That was his favorite place. He used to go there 3 times a week for about a year. And he made someone in there uncomfortable. Sometimes he'd put his, headphones on and listen to music and sing along or whatever, just like be a normal dude. And here and there, some people didn't like it. Okay. I think they sound like, I don't want to say Karens because we love Karens, you know what I mean? But, like a Karen type, like what do we call them? Anyway, so complainers. So they're like, no, we don't like that. So that's kind of what happened on the 5th. And then on the 6th, he went back there in the morning for coffee again. So there is some speculation of, did he even go home that night? He would have stayed alone because his dad left for the trip. But he was back there right when the coffee shop opened. And that is when this coffee shop, which here in the Netherlands we call cafe, because coffee shop means something completely different. Anyway, more on that in my members only videos. I talk a lot about that and show you guys around. So, hold on, I'm losing my train of thought. So this was his favorite place, right? And according to the family, when he went there, he had no idea that this dude the night before had reported him and that there would be a trespassing warning. So can you imagine how heartbreaking that was when he goes to his favorite place in the morning? Maybe he stayed up all night. We don't know. Going in there for coffee, that's his go-to place. That's his anchor. And they serve him that day with a trespassing warning. So you may never come back here because you made someone uncomfortable because you had a pocket knife on the table. He apparently got this pocket knife in the weeks before his disappearance, and he told his dad it was for protection. I mean, again, can't fault that. You know how I feel about that. I want that. Can't even have pepper spray in this country. My word. Karens and Darrens. My word. Okay. So there is CCTV footage of him from that day, but Foxtail has not released it to the family or the police. In fact, all they did was show the family a screenshot, which I don't understand why. Why can't you release it? Why? The police say they also haven't got it. Why? What's so secretive there? Oh, my word. On November 12th. So now, remember this date because follow along with the timeline. And if you need to pause or look at it again at any point, watch the replay, take notes, do your thing. Let's share as much as possible, right? On November 12th, he was last seen near the basketball courts and woods by a maintenance worker at his apartment, which was called the place where he was living with his father. Now, the thing is, the maintenance guy said, oh yeah, I saw him last week Friday. But it could have been Friday, November 5th. There is room for error in his statement. There is some lost in translation. But he said last Friday, and when he said it, last Friday means November 12th. Okay, so just keep that in mind as well. He was wearing a black hoodie, khaki shorts, and red slide sandals. He's not been seen or heard from by his family since November 5th. He's known to frequent restaurants and businesses in or on University Boulevard and Alafaya Trail. That is true, Marielle. Wait, in Australia, it's illegal to carry any kind of weapon for self-defense, not even a pocket knife. Same here in the Netherlands. Exactly the same. It's kind of hectic for those of us who struggle with PTSD stuff. We feel like we want protection. Even just pepper spray would be great, but no, we cannot have that. So like, okay. Anyway, so I guess we'll carry our keys around, isn't it? So apparently here there was also a no weapon policy in this coffee shop, which is why they were able to issue him with a trespassing warning, or, you know, what did I call it? Like to never go back there again. Wow. Okay. So this is a view of the inside of his favorite coffee shop. I put him there because he loved to be there. I can see why. I mean, he loved hanging out there. That's what it looks like from the outside as well. It's a whole franchise. There's a lot of these all over the country from what I can see. So yes. Ooh, in Switzerland, Swiss Army knives are allowed. Very nice. Yeah, a car key in the eye is handy. Yes. Okay, so Vladek's dad is Steve, and Jody Hazel is Vlad's sister. He, as you can see, he's a family of 8 siblings. So there are other pictures, but I just put these 2 on because they're the best pictures I could find, and they've been extremely active on social media as well. They said, thank you, Brian Enton and News Nation, for sharing Vladek's story, missing from East Orlando since November 2021. So Brian Enton from News Nation covered Vladek's story in May. There have been reported sightings of Vladek at homeless camps and at a 7-Eleven, but unfortunately, Vladek has not been found yet. So those are reported sightings that have not really panned out yet, but there is very high hope that he's alive and just either off-grid or in a homeless camp or something like that. Or even they say there's speculation he joined a religious group or something like that. So we're going to continue just looking at the facts in this case, and I'll show you the News Nation interview. On a News Nation special, Vladek's sister, Jody, said that he was struggling with depression and trying to find purpose since he was discharged from the Marines. He became hyper-focused on religion and was reaching out to homeless communities, determined to help anyone in need. He spent a lot of his free time at the Foxtail coffee shop. After the incident on November 12th, he was told he could no longer come back there. So not on November 12th, that's not right. On November 12th, wait. It was actually on November 6th. I don't know why I wrote November 12th there. Sorry, typo, November 6th. His dad's first thought was that he had a mental breakdown because of this. And he said, and his level of depression to start with, his dad said, and maybe he went out there into the woods like he one time thought of doing and just stayed there. So he did one time think of just going out there, which we'll look at the maps as well. And he just thought of going out there. There's some woods like nearby his house there. He would actually sometimes cut through those woods to get to the coffee shop. It would be just as the crow flies, like A to B, straight to the coffee shop. And, so saying, and maybe he went out there into the woods like he one time thought of doing and just stayed there is interesting to consider. The Orange County Sheriff's Department call Vladek's disappearance an open and active investigation and would not appear for media interviews. So Brian Enton could not interview them. A letter opener and a pencil can be used as a weapon. Oh, yes. I've got a lot of creative things in my bag when I'm walking around. I feel you. I want to hear from his bio sister. If they were so close, isn't she front and center of the search? She is. Okay, so here Vladek's story has been featured on Lord and Arts, the family's latest interview. I'd highly recommend checking that out. Fox 35 Orlando, Nerdy Addict on Twitter, News Nation, Missing Persons Podcast, Missing on Monday Podcast, WESH2 News, Frankie Rose's Crime Time, Sleuth Mom, Still Speak Podcast, and a few more. Please keep sharing his story. We would love for lots of people to share this case and just keep it in the limelight. That's the worst thing that can happen, is for the media attention to go cold on these cases. You know, it helps if we keep, you know, the wheel squeaking along. Oh, I see. Not I'll be frank. No, the bio sister hasn't spoken on it. That's the adoptive sisters. Oh, damn. I've seen two of them. Yes. And I saw them on Lord and Arts. Okay. The bio sister hasn't spoken. Interesting. Very interesting. You never know what kind of anxiety she might have. You never know what the reason might be, but I hear you. So these are all the places where you can learn more about the case and keep up to date with it as well. TikTok at Find Vladek Hasel or Hazel. Instagram, same. Reddit, same. Twitter, same name. So that's really great. So it's easy to find everywhere. The Nameless account number for Vladek's case is hashtag MP88167. You can call the OCSO with any information, 407-836-4357. So if you know anything, if you see something, say something. If you know anything, please say something. There's a reference number as well, and there's a Facebook group as well. Additional notes. So news reports have said that Vladek was last seen walking into the woods near his home based on what the maintenance workers said. However, his family said it was not quite translated correctly. He had not been spotted walking into the woods. It's just something the maintenance guy said, oh yeah, I saw him there, like near the woods, but he's just actually said, you should check the woods, because Vladek did like hanging out in the woods to either smoke or sing or just hang out there. It was kind of like his nature time. So that is why he said you should check the woods. The family had a trip to Tennessee for his sister Bethany's birthday. In case you wonder, what was the trip all about? He did often actually say, I'm just going to stay at home, you guys go. It wasn't the first time. His dad traveled between November 5th and 15th. He actually intended to return home on November 16th, but he came back on November 15th. And he had asked Vladek to bring in an Amazon package that was to be delivered. When he returned home, the package was still on the doorstep. The hashtag Nerdbird Mafia on Twitter helped raise funds to have billboards put up in Orlando, Florida, to spread awareness for Vladek's case. So you can see the billboard behind me here. And Lamar Advertising put up 11 billboards in hopes of finding Vladek through credible tips. The family has emphasized that the Vlad they know would not hurt himself in any way. The knife from the Foxtail coffee shop incident was found in the apartment. Vladek bought it for about $60 in the weeks leading up to his disappearance. And as I said, he told his dad it was for protection. Exactly. The dad, sorry, I'm just going to put this comment on. Cat Lover says his dad had a hearing problem. That's why the misunderstanding with the janitor. Exactly. With the maintenance guy, right? Is that what you call, is it janitor or just general maintenance guy? But maintenance guy at this apartment complex. The dad was hard of hearing, and that's what he understood by it at first. But when Vlad's siblings heard it, they're like, oh, no. He just said, check the woods. Okay. Wasn't there something with Nerdy with that case? I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure if there was or wasn't. He did cover it a lot. So I'm not too sure, you know. He covered it. The former FBI agent as well, which is, I think, part of the group, you know, did some TikToks on it and things like that. So yeah, there was some group coverage, and there was raising of money for billboards and things like that. And that's about as far as I know. So yes. How about a nail file? This is also the question I have. I wonder what or who it was that he was scared of, that he suddenly decided to carry and show a knife with him. However, maybe it could have even been, you know, a little bit of psychosis, or very strong, as they said, like he got hyper focused on religion. Maybe it was even from supernatural things in his mind. You know, you just don't know. All right. So Vladek's dad said that the food that he'd stocked up on for him before the trip was mostly still in the apartment when he returned. So his question is like, what was he eating in those 10 days if he was still kind of in the home? Before his disappearance, Vladek had been asking what the purpose of life was if one could just go to heaven. He also asked whether taking one's own life would still mean you could go to heaven. And he said, what if I just go into the woods and I lay down and die? So, you see, these are unfortunately, of course, mental health red flags. But, in all these cases, even if someone has mental health red flags, it doesn't mean that something else didn't happen, or that he decided to, you know what, I'm just going to go off grid or join another group or live in a homeless encampment. You just don't know. Vladek was allegedly considering going to live off grid, and there's speculation that he may have joined a religious group. Someone living in the apartment complex allegedly spoke with him. Now, this is interesting. At 3 a.m. on November 15th, where Vladek asked if he could stay with him, and then he said, no, I've got a wife and kids, I'm sorry. So then he said, oh, okay, I'm going off grid. That is interesting. And again, it's kind of a little bit up in the air because it's just what's reported. Even the family wasn't like sure about exactly who that was and if that really happened, but that's what the guy who lived in the apartment, some guy said. Note, he was discharged from the Marines in September 2019. This was classified as failure to adapt. He did not enjoy having a desk job. Then the Rona hit, so this must have been a really tough time for him either way. His family said that he was known to smoke marijuana occasionally, and a smoke store had reported knowing him as a client. So, yeah, the family has said maybe, I don't know, maybe he smoked something or took something that could have made him experience some psychosis or a mental health break or something like that. It's just something they consider. And I really appreciate that the family, in this case, really keeps all doors open. They consider everything because they really just want to find him, right? A red slide shoe, so like a slider, was found in the woods by police. It's not been confirmed to be Vladek's, but it does match the same type of shoes that he was wearing in the Foxtail surveillance video. The family has only ever seen a screenshot of this video, as I say. So they said they're not sure if it was his shoe, but it is a bit of a scary thought to think that he was wearing red sliders and one red slider was found in the woods. That is quite scary. Now, May 24th, his dad, Steve Hasel, said, CUE, right, the Center for Missing Persons, has established with the Orange County Sheriff's Office the dates for a search of the large wooded area near my apartment. They will be here June 25th and June 26th. Very hopeful this area, which includes almost 400 acres, can be ruled out. Really hope so. The woods hasn't really been thoroughly searched yet, so that's a scary thought. I mean, it's just when asked why hasn't it been, the family said, well, the police said you can't interfere with the investigation. So it hasn't, that to me is like, oh man, that's like such a, what do you call it? Like a vulnerability that they haven't searched the woods thoroughly yet. So yes. Oh, thank you. So Leo says, thanks for bringing this case to the Grizzlies. Grizz, it's my absolute pleasure. Sounds like he was struggling to find his place in the world. Yes, and that is what his family described. Like he thought his purpose was like being part of the Marine Corps. That's what he's going to do. So when that didn't really work out, that really hit him hard, All right, and I'm back. So if we look here, I've got map time for each case we're covering today. We are going to be a little bit over an hour. I'm just letting you know because I would love to just make sure we cover all the details here. So the place at Alapaya, I hope I'm saying it right. He lived at the place, at this complex, right? And you could see he often spent time at these basketball courts. He really liked playing basketball there in the months leading up to his disappearance. Not so much because I understand, he was struggling with depression. So then that is a warning sign. It's a red flag. If you see someone that you love, just like, or anyone, a friend, family, just like stopping doing all the things they once loved so much, that's already a sign to just ask if they're okay. We also do have a range for mental health awareness, by the way. It's called Grizzlies Keep Going. And I find it motivates me a lot as well, because I know that when I feel really low, I've got all of you guys And I hope we all know we all got each other's backs, okay? So that's what that means. It's got like a semicolon, which means your story is not over yet. My story is not over yet. We're all going to be here, okay? Together. So the place at Alafaya is here. And he would, like, I mean, if you do the little map walking to Foxtail Coffee, it's right up here. It's right up here. But you could see he would actually, apparently, they could just like go into the woods here and he could cut right through like this. So they've shared a map like this on Twitter where he could literally cut right through like this. I don't know if you go left or right of this little dam here. But let's say you cut through like this, keep it going right through the woods straight to Foxtail Coffee. So that is where he was. And Foxtail Coffee, if you're watching, if you could please release the footage to the family, that would be nice. Thanks. Because why the hell not? What on earth is the reason for keeping it? If we put the little Google man there, I mean, if that was my loved one and they've got footage, man, I'm going to get some trespassing warnings there too, because I'll be there every single day. Like, hello, can you maybe release the footage? So this is Foxtail Coffee Co. That's what it looks like. And they've got footage of when Vladek was there on the 5th and the 6th, especially of the 6th. Wow. Yes. It's a hard no for me. Very large college community. That's true as well. It's very close to, is it called UFC? Oh man. But it's a very large college community. Yes, it is. So yeah, this is the coffee shop. If we look around, where you're seen on November 5th, and then again in the morning on the 6th, where then he's not been seen again besides the person in the complex saying that he saw him on the 15th. That's allegedly. But since the 12th, since he got issued with that trespassing warning, gone. That crushed him. Yes, UCF. Thank you so much. UCF. Yes. Whoa, I'm thinking they may be involved in the disappearance, Foxtail. Whoa. Well, keep saying things like that and maybe they'll show the damn footage. Yep, clear their name. Please, my word. I just can't. Apparently also because it was like a trespassing warning and the police were there and everything, the manager, from what I understood, filmed it. And then he actually, they don't usually keep surveillance footage, something like that. So he transferred it to his phone or to his personal hard drive or whatever. So he's got it. So why can't you show the family that? Even just for their peace of mind, even just to see, well, what was he actually literally wearing there? What did he do? What were the circumstances? It reminds me of the Daniel Robinson case when he went to the Waffle House the day before he disappeared. And the Waffle House won't release the footage. Like, what is that? What in the hell? You said the footage was released to law enforcement, but from what I read today, law enforcement said they also haven't got the footage. So I don't know. Is it? Yeah, release it if they're not guilty. They just got the family got a screenshot, which is like, oh, come on. That's why I treat people kind. You never know what they're going through personally. Exactly. All right, so I'm going to make myself bigger again and take this off. There we go. Now we move on to the next case.